Magandang hapon, Malacañang Press Corps, and welcome muli sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, November 9. In its monthly meeting, the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, board discussed high-impact projects on infrastructure and maritime security. The Committee on Infrastructure also presented a progress report on the infrastructure flagship projects under the Build Better More program. And to tell us more about what transpired during the meeting, we have with us NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan. Good afternoon, Secretary Balisacan.
Good afternoon, Daphne. Members of the Malacañang Press Corps, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am pleased to announce that the National Economic and Development Authority Board, or NEDA Board, chaired by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., convened and approved 3 high-impact projects during its 11th meeting today. First, the NEDA Board approved the pang-agraryong tulay para sa bagong bayanihan ng mga magsasaka or PBBM Bridges Project of the Department of Agrarian Reform. This project, with a total cost of 28.2 billion pesos, aims to construct 350 modular steel bridges with an estimated total length of 10,500 linear meters. These bridges will enhance access and connectivity for agrarian reform communities to improve the quality of life in rural areas. The approved project aims to increase the productivity and income of at least 350,000 households. The ease of mobility and access to and from the agrarian reform communities will generate more employment and address the community's need for better access to social services and market outlets for their agricultural products. Second, the NEDA Board approved Phase 3 of the Maritime Safety Capability Improvement Project for the Philippine Coast Guard. This project involves the design, construction, and delivery of 5 units of multi-role response vessels or MRRV, each with a length of 97 meters. This project also includes a 5-year integrated logistics support. This project will further improve the Philippine Coast Guard's capability to respond to threats and incidents within the country's maritime jurisdiction. In particular, the project will enable the Coast Guard to secure important sea lines of communication in the West Philippine Sea, Sulu, Celebes Seas, and the Philippine Sea. It will also help the Philippine Coast Guard combat illegal activities and enforce maritime laws in the Philippine waters. The total project cost is 29.3 billion pesos, which will be financed through an Official Development Assistance or ODA loan from the government of Japan. Third, the NEDA Board approved the revised parameters, terms, and conditions, or PTCs, of the Tarlac-Pangasinan-La Union Expressway, or Tplex Extension Project, as recommended by the Investment Coordination Committee of the NEDA Board. These PTCs were negotiated between the Department of Public Works and Highways and the original proponent of the unsolicited PPP project. Following this approval, the DPWH will proceed with the publication of the invitation for comparative proposals in accordance with the revised 2022 Build, Operate, Transfer Law, implementing rules and regulations, as well as the ICC guidelines on processing PPP proposals. Approved in June this year, the Tplex Extension Project involves a 59.4 kilometer toll road, which will connect from the last exit of Tplex in Rosario, La Union, and will terminate in San Juan, La Union. This is expected to stimulate economic activity, alleviate road congestion, provide better and safer road access, and promote the development of new growth centers in nearby regions. Lastly, let me share with you the progress of our infrastructure flagship projects, or IFPs, under the Build Better More program. As the lead monitoring agency for IFPs, NEDA reported that one of the 197 IFPs, specifically the Samar Pacific Coastal Road project by the Department of Public Works and Highways, has been completed. The 18.64 or 65 kilometer road project links the towns of Lawang, Kadubig, and Palapag by establishing a circumferential road around the entire Samar Island. The road is expected to enhance economic activity in the region by improving the delivery and movement of essential goods and services and creating more job opportunities. Additionally, there are currently 71 ongoing projects, 29 projects approved for implementation, 9 projects awaiting government approvals, 52 projects in the project preparation phase, and 35 projects in the pre-project preparation phase as of the third quarter of 2023. The Marcos administration remains steadfast in its dedication to enhancing connectivity, ramping up employment, creating investments, and significantly improving living standards for every Filipino by ensuring the efficient implementation of these high-impact projects. We will continue with our commitment to pursue important initiatives to ensure social and economic transformation towards a matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay para sa lahat. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Balisacan. Are there any questions? Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Secretary, regarding the Coast Guard project, when will it be implemented? Since it has been approved, no?
Well, with this approval, it will now go into the procurement of these projects. There's been a commitment by the funding agency, the government of Japan, to support this project.
So,
It will be completed. The vessels would come. There are, as I said, there are 5 vessels. No, these vessels will be delivered starting sometime 2027, and then all these vessels will be delivered by 2028.
so within the term of the
Within the
president,
term,
we will be
yeah.
able to see this. Thank you, Sec.
Jean Mangalus, Inquirer.net.
Hi, sir. So was this ODA loan from Japan a long time in the making, or did it come from the recent meeting between the president and the prime minister?
Well, it's already it's a continuing program with the government of Japan, but this would, of course, has been facilitated by these meetings with the government of Japan. Not only this current meeting, but in the previous meetings of the president with the prime minister of Japan.
Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Sir, yun sa Coast Guard project, na-identify na po kung saan manggagaling yung vessels.
Yeah, Japan. Yeah.
And also yung sa PPBM bridges project, sir, saan po yung mga lugar na kung saan tatayuan ng mga bridges?
Oh, they're all over the Philippines. Yeah, because there are about 350 of those projects scattered all over the rural areas of the Philippines.
Pero dapat, sir, agrarian reform.
There must be agrarian reform beneficiaries because the objective is to link agrarian reform communities to markets so that their livelihood will be enhanced.
Sir, last na lang yun dun sa Tplex, sir. So, ito pong extension, sir, will be from Rosario to San Juan.
Yeah.
Meron na po ba, sir, na pag-aaral or start na rin po ba yung extension on San Juan then going northward, sir?
Oh yes, it's part of the plan to bring all the expressway all the way to Ilocos.
What's our timeline, sir?
We are doing the preparing now the study for that because there's going to be first study And of course, that will be done along with the railway, because the priority is also to get the railway from Manila all the way to Ilocos, going to Sabela and the fruit-producing areas of the north.
Any more questions? Okay, Jean again.
Hi, sir. So can we elaborate more on what this means for our country's defense situation, especially with the situation in the West Philippine Sea?
This is for the Coast Guard, so it is for not for military purposes, no, but it's acquiring enough communications, enhancing our communication system, addressing threats to our people, and especially fishermen and so on. So it's basically, and also for emergencies, no? If there are typhoons, or you can deploy seas to provide assistance to people are threatened by disasters.
Maurice Umali-Tima.
Sir, just to follow up on what Jean asked, because normally it is the Philippine Coast Guard which assists the fishermen in the Ayungan Shoal,
Yes, correct.
Bajo de Masinloc, Panatag, and a lot of other areas. So these vessels can also be used for the Philippine Coast Guard in their resupply mission for the fishermen in that particular area, and also in for those people who are manning the Sierra Madre,
Yes.
the BRP Sierra Madre.
Yeah, but they're not equipped with guns.
Yes, definitely, sir. But they can be used for those resupply missions.
Yes, because they're also, if these are the kind of vessels that can navigate, for example, rough seas, for the delivery of supplies in those areas. As of now, we only have 2 of those vessels, and can you imagine how big the country is, and we're an archipelagic country, and so with the acquisition of the 5 vessels, we can cover more areas, and our government can be more responsive and can be quicker in its response to emergency situations.
For example, in the event of a possible oil spill, or for environmental protection as well, it serves the communities, the coastal communities. Go ahead.
Sir, so by any chance, building on the previous question, did the recent aggression by Chinese vessels, did it accelerate the acquisition of these vessels, especially since it's from Japan, an ally of the Philippines?
Yes, I think these vessels are very important means for quicker communication, establishing these sea line communications, so that our response to situations like that would not wait for several days, because sometimes it's several days or a day after that when we hear that something happened, because we simply, it takes a long time from the a side of distress, and then we send a vessel, a slow moving vessel, so so we really need more responsive vessels to be able to respond to emergency situations quickly.
Okay, Alexis Romero.
Secretary, bali ilang taon yung payment term for the ODA, and given that it's a Japanese ODA, so ibig sabihin, Japan will nominate the shipbuilder, ganun po ba?
Yeah, normally in ODA, these are concessional. There are concessional. It's a concessional loan, no? So there are the interest rates are lower than market rates, and this kind of projects, it's the suppliers basically coming from the lending country, and so in this case it will be the Japanese government will have their own way of bidding projects to make sure that it's also competitive from their end. Of course, we coordinate with them in to make sure that the standards that we want, the specifications are complied with, and the vessels are delivered in the way we want them.
So Japan will nominate the shipbuilder and they will also initiate the procurement efforts.
Yeah, their procurement is by them.
Okay.
Usually ODA projects are like that's the procurement, but their procurement is respected by our procurement laws.
And how many years to pay, Secretary?
These are long-term loans. I don't have the numbers with me now, but these are normally over 20, 30 years. But these are long-term lending window of Japan.
Thank you, Sec.
Okay. Harley Valbuena, DZME.
Sec, tanong ko lang po, hanggang ilang...
Hello.
Hello po,
Gising
good
na sila
afternoon.
lahat.
Sec, tanong ko lang po kung hanggang ilang phase po itong Maritime Safety Capability Improvement Project po. Kasi ngayon po, approved na yung phase 3. So hanggang ilang phase po ito?
We don't have anything at the moment on the succeeding one, but if you are happy with the performance of these vessels, then they remain to be the best standard for us, and also most advantageous for the Philippine government. We can continue to source our requirements from them. But again, we are open to other areas, other sources. So we don't have yet anything on the pipeline on that phase 3 or phase 4 or phase.
Thank you, Sec.
Did you have a question? Vance Fernandez, Police Files. Microphone, please.
Sir, good afternoon. Can you give us an idea how much is the interest, the total interest for this loan from Japan?
Total interest?
Yes.
Oh, I don't have the information with me now, but these are highly concessional loans. If I compare it with the other loans like the subway or these are 1% and below,
Much
over many years, no? And they also come with some grace period. It varies from project to project, but grace periods can be quite long. So it's quite generous insofar as the interest rate is concerned. The only thing that would make sometimes ODA expensive is the procurement nga, because you don't select the contractor yourself. It's the government that selects, no? And so in some cases, this in general, no, talking about ODA in general and not particularly for Japan, they can be expensive as well, no? So that's why we have to look and compare different types of financing, whether it's ODA, PPP, JAA, or simply borrowing from the capital markets. And the watts of the DOF is to compare these different ways of financing the project and select one that's best, in the best interest of the government and the country. But of course, in the case of these maritime vessels, hindi naman lahat ng countries merong nag-offer ng maritime vessels, no? So it's just a matching of what they're offering and what we need, and then look at the cost, and if it's meet, if the standards are met, then we go ahead with the procurement.
So meaning to say Japan has the lowest interest.
Well, in general, the interest rates, as far as I can see, many of the sources, interest rates in Japan are quite low. At least the numbers that you are seeing. But I said, as in some financing mechanisms, maybe the interest is low but the price is high, no? So mga ganun, parang in other marketing gimmicks, di ba? They say interest free, but actually what you paid interest is already built up in the cost, in the price of the item. So it can be deceiving as well, no? So that's why the watch of DOF is to unpack as much as possible the information and select what is most advisable. That's what we do when we deal with banks, di ba? They have different package, but kanya-kanyang gimmick ang pag-pack, but you have to be very careful what goes in those particular mga fine lines, na mga fine lines yan. That's where the gimmicks are, na.
Okay, well, Secretary Balisacan, before we go, since there's a lot of interest in the maritime concerns, in addition to the security and the environmental protection and, of course, humanitarian uses for these 5 new shipping vessels, what are the other economic benefits that investing in this would bring to our country?
No, I think that we depend so much on our rural folks depend so much on the seas. No, fishing is still a major economic activity for many of our rural folks, and if they can access the seas for our fishing and we can protect those seas, then the economic value of those seas for us will remain high. But if those corals are degraded, for example, are destroyed, then you lose those economic values. Of course, the biodiversity issues, those are sometimes hard to quantify, but they are so important in our economic life, no? So this the fishing is a very important source of livelihood, but transport is also equally important, because if you cannot pass through the most direct route, you are forced to go a long route that's very costly for the movement of goods and people. And so when we examine the benefits and costs of this project, the economic benefits outweigh the cost, and therefore, even from a strictly economic point of view, these investments are worth the cost.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, last question from Jean.
So, last question. Broadly speaking, do you see us straying away from Chinese loans and ODAs, given that this is a new loan from Japan?
Just to be honest, almost all ODAs have strings, But that's the very nature of this kind of projects. In the case of, as I mentioned already, that one of the strings attached on ODA is you cannot choose your own supplier. The supplier would have to come from the country source of that ODA. So that alone is and so that if that supplier can be expensive relative to another supplier, for example, but you have no other way, because that's essentially tied with your access to the low cost, low interest rate loan, no? In the case of China, you also have that too. They provide their own, they have their own procurement process, they have own way of selecting suppliers and pricing their goods. So that's part of the evaluation that we do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we go, we would like to greet Secretary Balisacan a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you. You made my day.
Oh, thank you, sir. And
you.
thank you so much, Malacañang Press Corps. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.